Guys, it's happening as we speak. Water has started to breach the dam at the Chilcotin River. That dam that has been built, so to speak, by a massive landslide that has happened in the night from Tuesday to Wednesday last week. And residents have discovered that blockage, that huge dam near Farewell Canyon last Wednesday morning. And you have to imagine how big this thing is. So this landslide has created a dam that is 30 meters high, so 100 feet high, and 600 meters wide, and over a kilometer long, so 1 mile long, and 600 meters wide, so half a mile wide and over a mile or a mile long. This is how massive this dam is. And since then, it has completely blocked the Chilcotin River. So what is the problem that we have heard just today? So the risk to public safety include the potential for further landslides upstream, because there has been a lake that has been formed that's 11 kilometers long, like a backlog of water that has been rising with 20 centimeters per hour. So more landslides upstream, but also downstream once the water really begins to flow past this. So that's why the province of British Columbia has this morning issued emergency alerts to the cell phones of residents. So you can see the different safety alerts that they have issued here for the different regions. So what they're saying right now is, and that's an official government release, is that safety is prioritized as the water begins to overflow the Chilcotin River landslide. And I want to show you this clip here. This is the Wineglass Ranch. You see how close it is located to the river and how high the river is already. So one of the family members, I found that post on Facebook. So their buildings are definitely threatened, and we'll see a video later where I think one of their log homes is washed away. And here you see the pictures of 2009, how that ranch looks from an aerial pictures. And I'll show you again in a close-up what the water does there already. And it seems to wash out the banks, and the threat is that it's washing out the buildings with it. Because of that, this emergency alert has been sent to the cell phones, to radio, to television stations, to advise the people in the area on or along the river banks of the Chilcotin River, from Hansville to the Fraser River, to where it merges with the Fraser River, and the Fraser River from the Chilcotin River to the Gang Ranch Road Bridge, to evacuate immediately due to flooding and debris flow. They also said people that would be able to evacuate by themselves should call 911. Basically, they're saying people also need to stay off the Chilcotin and Fraser rivers and away from riverbanks due to the risk of fast-moving water and debris. So even if the water elevation in an area may be similar to spring flooding levels, the water will react a lot differently, guys. It has a greater momentum and it has a greater force than a gradual increase in water levels in the spring. And I want to show you here again how wide this breach is at the moment. So it's like a river that is flowing, it's grinding through that dam, and it's 15 meters wide. So that's 50 feet wide, and it's coming down here. So you see that. So we will have to see, is that getting wider? But as it's already sending debris down to the river, they have teams on site to assess the movement of the landslide. Will the dam collapse in areas? The province says they will give further updates when they come, and then they will issue additional emergency alerts to people downstream, on and along the Fraser River when the peak flow will reach people there. And there's a map where you can see how the peak flows would look. And the officials said that the peak flows along the Chilcotin River could be more than 10 times greater than the typical spring melt levels. So 10 times greater, that's a lot. And you see it starts from Henswell, and there you can see at the Farewell Bridge a 21-meter increase, and then it goes down to the Fraser River confluence where they merge, so that could be 12 meters. And then Lillooet, the Lillooet area has been under warning, 4.4 meters increase. And then at Lytton, Fraser River, Lytton, 3.5 meters increase. Lytton burned down in a wildfire 2 years ago, was completely destroyed, and it's still troubling because they're having problems to rebuild it. Was it 2 or 3 years? God, time flies. I'll put it here in the screen how long it was. And then it would reach areas near Boston Bar along the Fraser River, 2.6 meter increase, and then it would reach Hope. So that's not too far from the lower mainland towards Vancouver anymore. So 1.1 meter increase. So the Fraser River bed in the lower mainland in the greater Vancouver area should be able to take a 1.1 meter increase. Here is a video of the first images when the water was getting through the landslide, of when it started to breach it first. And you have to imagine, so they say that this breach is expected to move up to 3 million dump trucks worth of soil in the coming days. 3 million dump trucks filled with soil. That's what's coming down with the water, coming down the Chilcotin River and the Fraser River. So you have to imagine that. That's what poses a risk, because the water will behave totally differently than in normal spring peaks, because we have dead trees, logs that are coming down with it. So where the landslide happened, that was an area that had wildfires, so dead trees, burnt material, all that is coming down the river. That's why it is so crucial that people stay away from the riverbanks, because that pulse of water that it's breaching through the dam right now will carry this debris downstream, and that is a massive, massive force. The Caribou, that's the area where this is happening, Regional District Emergency Operations Center has said that they're worried about the debris, not the water. So the debris flow, which aren't included in their current water overflow modeling that they have done. So the debris seems to change the modeling. So they say, we don't know what those impacts will be, but our concern is for the safety of the people and the infrastructure in the area. So at 9 a.m., the water started to breach the dam. The emergency alert was issued shortly after at 10:35, and you can also see another map here where you see the red area with the exclamation mark. That is the crucial area, and where the most hazards is, and then it's meeting the Fraser River and it's coming down the Fraser River. There it's a yellow alert, but you know, it's developing. You know, the dam can still break, can be breached at multiple spots. So if we have more of these 15-meter wide rivers going through the dam might get brittle and crumble, and then this could still cause like an even more massive flow of debris. That would be their worst case scenario, or closer to the worst case scenario. And they have said yesterday that the original worst case scenario that they estimated is not valid anymore. It would be even more or even bigger what would come down the stream. So let's hope that there is pressure relief from this 15-meter long wide river that is flowing there, and that not more, let's so to speak, will collapse or what will happen. I mean, this will take quite a while till this dam is transported away by the river. That can take weeks, I would assume. But the first people have posted some videos on X, so it seems some tiny little log home is being washed away from the river, and it's interesting videos that we see here. And there you can also see how it's flowing, and you can also see the lake that has formed, and the water is now really brownish with a lot of debris and logs in it. So if that all comes down, imagine, right? So there are evacuation orders as well, not only alerts, there are orders as well along parts of the Chilcotin and Fraser River. That affects about 11 properties and about 10 people in the Caribou Regional District. I mean, it's not highly densely populated, but there's ranches out there. So that's ranchers and their staff probably that have to be evacuated. But, you know, it's not only in the Chilcotin River area, it's also along the Fraser River. There have been evacuation orders along the Fraser River that one of them covers a 9.6 square kilometer area along the Fraser River, and that is just a little bit south where it meets the Chilcotin River. And then there's a second evacuation order that covers 3.5 square kilometers off the Fraser River, just north of that confluence, just like upstream. That is an interesting one. And they say once the water hits the Fraser River from the Chilcotin River, it'll go where it can. So if there's an opening, a flat area, a property or something, it's going there. And they're saying if there's enough water coming down, it will even go upstream off the Fraser River, and then it will eventually flow downstream. So that's crazy. Then a third evacuation order is also affecting the Gang Ranch Suspension Bridge. That order covers about 1.5 square kilometers along the Fraser River. That's roughly 25 kilometers south of where the two rivers meet. And of course, evacuation orders remain in place for about 100 square kilometers of land along the Chilcotin River, both upstream and downstream from where the landslide has happened near this area that's called Farewell Canyon. So residents in general, if they don't have an evacuation order yet, they are asked to prepare for a potential evacuation. There's an area, it's called like Big Bar area. There's a ferry down there. I think it's like tourists are using it, residents that are using it. It's an interesting area. I've just been there last November. So that's why I can show you this area. You can see the valley of the Fraser River there. I mean, it looks absolutely stunning. It's like out of a Western movie there. And there's a little settlement. There's a few houses there down where the ferry is. And I have to say, you know, it's when you come from the highway, there is a sign, it says Big Bar Ferries, and it gives you a ferry schedule. So you would think if it's a ferry, then it would be okay for a truck to go there. And we were there with a truck camper. So yeah, we drove there. It's like gravel roads and you drive for a few hours, and then it's always the signage, yeah, Big Bar Ferries. And of course, I'm very, very curious. So that's why I wanted to see that. So we drove down there, and then big gravel trucks and machinery were coming towards us. So my estimation, because there's nothing else, is they're coming from the ferry. So roads must be okay. And then it was all good until the last stretch. And you see the pictures here. It really goes down, and then there was this winding road, and it was really washed out on the sides and really steep turns. And then you're there with your truck and that truck camper, which makes the vehicle quite high. So I've been thinking, yeah, well, you know, it's should be okay, let's try. But you know, if you go down the hill with that truck camper, that's probably it. So, but you know, I guess my stupid adventure game made me take the road down there. And then when we were down there, the ferry was closed. And so I'm like, wow, I knew if I looked at the map that the road is going further in the other direction and then maybe back to the highway, but I didn't know how the road is. I just didn't want to go back that steep turning road. That I really didn't like it, because it was really like not level and not even. But then we talked to some locals there, because they came out of their homes looking what we're doing there, and they told us the ferry's closed. So I asked them, which way should we go? Should we go that road there that we don't know? Or no, they said you have to go back up the cliff, so to speak. And yeah, so after sweating for a few minutes, and especially, right, if you go down there on the way down, because it had been going down for about over an hour, you don't want to hit the brakes all the time. So you have the motor brake, but you carry a lot of weight. So that was a F-150 truck with a very big truck camper with a slide on. It was a rental truck. So, of course, you're worried with the brakes, right? And that steep thing, I had to hit the brakes, so including the motor brake. So it was interesting. So going back up there, yeah, it was also not fun, but I made it. So that's why this area also has, it's listed in that area that have issued an evacuation alert. It's private properties within either side of the Fraser River. So I know exactly what these properties are, and that's why I'm showing you the pictures, because it's interesting. It's really interesting, and it's a beautiful area. But if you ever think going with your motorhome down to the Big Buff ferries, just don't, right? And I've asked a local before, hey, is it okay to go down there with a truck camper? Yeah, no problem. And then later on, when I came back and I told them, I said, well, that was kind of, oh yeah, oh no, we only go down with our Jeep, with nothing else. I'm like, maybe you should have told me that. But I know my dad once said, never ask the locals if you're hiking in the mountains, and if you're wondering, just don't do that. The answers are weird. I don't know why that is, but in this case, it was. I'll keep you updated while this is developing. I'm on the pulse with this. This hits home for me. And guys, I have some news for you, for my regular viewers of this channel. I have opened up a second channel yesterday. It's called News with Silky. Check it out. I have linked this channel to the front page of this channel. It says my other channel. And if you could help me out to my 42,400 subscribers here, if you could subscribe to the other channel to help me get that monetized as quickly as possible. Why have I done the second channel? Because I'd like to report to you about news from all over the world that are not related to what we're discussing on this channel. So, and I think my first video is about a topic that I think we should learn or know about, because this could affect all of us. So that is about what's going on in Israel with Hamas and all these problems, how that could affect the whole world if that triggers so that Shizzy hits the fizzy, guys. So check out that video if you like. And then if you have proposals about news around the world, what you want to hear about, put it here in the comments, or in the comments of the video of the other channel, and then I'll do that for you guys. So yeah, it would be great if you could help me out over there as well. I'd love to see you there, guys. This is work in progress. I don't know where that will lead me to. It will not be a disadvantage for this channel. This channel, I will continue to put the same level of work in that I have done all the last few months. So check out the new channel. I'm just silent now, and I'll see you there. Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye.